Welcome to the 2023 Economic Depression and Preparation channel. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday night brief edition, August 26, 2023. Please be sure to subscribe for the latest interpretation of financial news in the United States and sometimes abroad. I appreciate all of your support, and I do read all of your comments and concerns. Tonight, we're just going to talk about how inflation is continuing to get high, too high, and after the meeting in Jackson Hole, Wyoming of the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, he acknowledges that inflation is high, and he's warning that we're going to continue to raise rates even further. So let's see if we can catch up to Paul Volcker's 18% interest-style rates back in the 1980s. And also, we're going to talk about the supply chain that's going to be affected from gas to food to other things, and the shipping, what's going on down in the Panama Canal, down in Central America, as they're experiencing a drought that could have massive effects on some of our supplies that we use every day. Many of you have shown, and not only in the Northeast and the Southeast or in the Midwest, but also out West, how we've had prices continuing to rise on utilities, food, transportation, gas, rents, mortgages have stabilized somewhat. However, mortgage rates are still above 7.87%, which is crazy high, and it's going to be continuing to get higher here. So let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a brief episode tonight. We have Fed Chair Powell, according to CNBC.com, latest reports as of Friday. He warns that inflation is too high. Well, no duh. We've seen that real inflation, according to shadowstats.com, is between 18 and 20%. The nominal inflation that the government reports to us is around, 4%, 5%, but we know it's much higher than that, and it will continue to rise. So he said that, quote, progress has been made. The central bank leader says that inflation is still above where policymakers feel comfortable. You know, they're trying to get back to that 2% goal, which is going to be a lifetime goal. It's going to take at least 10 years for that to happen if everything was good. But we know everything is not good in this economy. Now, there is some good news. The good news is that these rate hikes are going to be incremental rate hikes. In other words, you can only see the Fed do, between 0.25% and 0.75%. They will never do a full 1 point or 2 point basis hike at any given meeting. So that's the good news. There won't be shocks to the system with relation to this rate hikes that all of the markets, investors, and all of the pundits have been saying. It's not going to be a shock system. So there is going to be a shock to the system is that these rate hikes are going to continue through this year and through next year, I believe, 2024. And this is going to slow down the borrowing power, the credit power of most average individual Americans, not only just individual Americans, but corporate small businesses and things of that nature who rely on a lot of credit purchases. Is going to be slowing down, unfortunately. So that's going to be the bad side, But he's saying that, quote, doing too little could allow the target inflation to become entrenched, and doing too much could also result in unnecessary, quote, harm to the economy. So they're navigating both of these things. So it's kind of like we're darned if we do, darned if we don't. If we continue to ignore inflation, then wage growth gets outpaced by inflation. If we continue to hammer down and raise rates, then this economy can easily spin into a depression, and that's what they're worried about. So it's either way, it's going to be kind of a slowdown for the Western world economies, the UK, the US, the Eurozone, Asia. Basically, that's what we're looking at. So now, a severe drought is affecting the Panama Canal. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not a good sign, according to CNN Business here, for supply chains all your holiday shopping. You remember Evergreen had their troubles. They filed bankruptcy. This is a cargo ship passing through the Pacific Ocean after passing through the Panama Canal. As you know, the Panama Canal, ladies and gentlemen, has a series of 9 locks that these ships have to pass through, either raising or lowering the water accordingly, so they can make it from the Atlantic to Pacific and transit that, successfully with a lot of goods and services. The Panama Canal is the lifeblood with its lock-driven operations, but so far the lack of abundant rainfall is leading to lower water levels and putting a squeeze on critical international shipping artery. Now, first, remember last year it was the Suez Canal. We had this big ship blocking the Suez Canal over in Egypt. Now we have the Panama Canal that has natural disaster, or a natural climatic change, I should say rather, which is a drought condition. So the water levels are low, and that's slowing down the effects of critical freight, So the direct impact to U.S. manufacturers, quote, it appears to be minimal right now. That's the good news. The potential for broader disruption is growing. So there's not enough water, okay? The lock system uses at least 50 million gallons of water to float each vessel through the canal, right? However, the lake level should be increasing. We have the Central American gyre. I don't want to get into meteorology too much, but we have the Central America gyre, they call it a low pressure, down in Central America that borders between Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua, countries like that, right? And it spins and produces these kind of monsoonal flow showers, however. But with El Nino intensifying this year, according to the article, right, we don't have that we don't have the lake levels are declining, and we don't have those typical rainfall showers in Panama in spring and summer. It's been the lowest since the turn of century, said John Davis, chief meteorologist at Everstream Analytics. So we got a drought going on there. Here, as you can see, people walking along the banks of the Mississippi River. Back, they're showing the states also had a drought when the Mississippi River was dropping below levels, and was showing all these abandoned ships and stuff on the riverbed there on the Mississippi River. So you've seen that before. So we could be experiencing not just container ships waiting at the canal to go through. There was 135 ships waiting at both ends of the Panama Canal. That's up from 29 before the month before. Adding that ships are waiting typically include gas tankers or bulk carriers. Okay. We also have hurricane season right now. As you know, there's something in the Gulf brewing. So Florida, be prepared. Northern Florida, Alabama, from that area, Pensacola, all the way back, be prepared for some type of tropical system that could be coming in your way between Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this coming week. So we have that also. That's going to affect gas prices down there, I'm pretty sure. So that's also going to be. So this supply chain thing has not totally resolved. We are getting shipments to the U.S., the U.K., Canada, Eurozone, Asia, but the timing of the shipments has gone down. Let me know if you're seeing in your areas. Are they still blocking the aisles in the grocery stores and in the Costco's, the Sam's, the Walmarts, the Targets? Are they still blocking the aisles to cover for missing spots in the grocery aisles? Are they still doing that in your area? I know they're still doing that in my area. Let me know if you're seeing gas prices tick up as we head toward Labor Day weekend coming up soon here. Average price of gas has been ticking up. Around AAA says around $3.89 to $3.90 a gallon. I've already seen $4 a gallon, $4.05 a gallon in Chicago and some other cities too as well. Let me know what you're seeing in your area. How are you mitigating the risk of these supply chain shifts or these supply chain shortages, in addition to these high inflation numbers that are going to be coming in the next few months as we head toward the end of the year, the school starting, holiday season, all of that thing? And let me know, how are you prepared to ride out the next few months? Are you going to be making a lot of big ticket purchases, maybe a new car, repairing a car, a new house, or transferring, downsizing, retiring? Let me know how that plays out for your situation in your neck of the woods. And in the meantime, have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Get out, get some fresh air, exercise, be with your family and your loved ones, because there's still a lot of good things happening in this part of the woods as we speak. So God bless. I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you for listening. Take care.